What's up, V Pizza family? Today, I just wanted to update you guys a little bit on our Americano style, let you know what's going on with it, and just continue to talk about it. Last week, we started the first week of this test, and we've gotten some great feedback from guests. And yesterday afternoon, the Facebook post describing it went live, and then this morning, one of the news channels here in Jacksonville has picked up the change and has already noticed it. So our guests are going to be noticing it. Our guests are going to be coming in. They're going to be asking questions, and you need to be in the know. And let me start off by, at any point, if you are not comfortable answering the questions from the guest, please get a manager involved so that they can. Do not just make things up or come up with answers to get out of a situation. Get your managers involved. You can also encourage guests to go to the Facebook page and see what's going on. So let's dig into this. And if you have any questions after this video, please reach out to myself or your general manager or any other leadership person here at V Pizza so that we can talk to you about any concerns or anything you have. So Americana style. Why are we doing this? In a recent test, we asked every guest at a restaurant to choose between an Americano style pizza, similar to our Amore or Made with Love, or a Napolitana style. To be clear, the method and the way we're preparing and cooking is still completely Neapolitan. We're just internally calling this change Americano style. 9 out of 10 people told us that that's what they wanted. They wanted this Americano style. They wanted a pizza with a less soupy center and a firmer, crispier crust. Now think for a minute what we have grown over the last 10 years. We've grown a brand of raving fans that love us for our amazing staff. They love us for you guys. They love our amazing wings. Almost everybody loves those. They love the stromboli. They love the outreach we do in the community. But 9 out of 10 people told us they would love to see our pizzas made differently. That's really, really mind-blowing, team, that we built what we built on a thing that they would love to see our pizza a little bit different. We spent years explaining why we're different and trying to educate people, but at the end of the day, people like what they like, and our job is to put the best pizza on the plate every time. So today we're talking about the upcoming changes. A lot of these changes are already in your restaurant, and we're also going to discuss what is not changing. Are you ready? It's an exciting time at V Pizza. Take your seat on the rocket and help us continue to make V Pizza even better. Let's first talk about what is not changing. Hospitality. Our commitment will remain the same. If a guest is not 100% happy, we will do everything we can do to make them happy before they leave. Our commitment to our imported and quality ingredients. We may be updating some procedures, but our love for our Italian ingredients and search for the best available ingredients is stronger than ever. And your responsibility for amazing food. Everyone has the right, and if anyone says they do not think that it should go to a table, then the rest of the team respects that and we remake the item. What else is not changing is you. Team, we would not be the company we are without each and every one of you who give your all every shift. While the passion and gas is all yours, and we can never tell you thank you enough, you are what makes V Pizza the amazing company that we have become. And we cannot do this next step as a company without each and every one of you being on fire and being passionate about these changes and what it means. We believe that with everything in us, that these changes will make us better and easier to execute great pizza every single time. One last thing to make sure that you understand that is not changing is we are still serving Napolitana style pizza. While for training purposes, we may be internally calling this Americano, for our guests, we are still serving Napolitana pizza. We are just hearing their request for a crispier and less soupy Napolitana pizza. Focus on that. We've not created a new style of pizza, and that's not what we want to tell our guests. We are still using San Marzano sauce and 00 imported flour. We've just tweaked the recipes to get better end results. So let's talk about the sauce changes. It's still made with only DOP imported San Marzano tomatoes. We are not changing that. We will never change that. We love our imported San Marzano tomatoes. We are adding the imported sea salt and the imported extra virgin olive oil to this when we make it, and we are now using an immersion blender to blend the sauce. It's really important that you fully blend the tomatoes, that no tomatoes can be left whole, or your sauce will remain soupy, which will defeat some of what we are trying to do with this. It's best for your sauce to have 24 hours to set up after blending, as it will thicken up. There's some fun chemistry that you can research behind that if you are into that stuff, but it totally breaks the cell walls down, and after 24 hours it will thicken the sauce and make it so that it does not separate in the oven as easily. The why: adding salt to the sauce helps us control consistency. Employees will have heavier or lighter hands when making pizzas on the line. To break it down, we're only adding 1/2 ounce of sea salt to every can of San Marzano tomatoes, which helps balance out the final sauce product. So let's talk about the dough change. We are now adding a mother dough and extra virgin olive oil to each batch. In addition, we are making the dough instructions foolproof. What does this do? Adding the extra virgin olive oil to the pizza dough enhances its flavor with a rich, fruity taste and improves the dough's texture by making it softer and slightly more elastic. It also helps create a crispier crust and can help maintain the dough's softness after baking, especially when served later on. Example, reheating and takeout orders. It also helps regulate the amount of water absorbed by the dough, leading to a more consistent product. Adding the mother dough from the previous batch. This helps with the fermentation process, and it helps add a more well-rounded and consistent flavorful dough across all locations, and will ensure that the guest isn't receiving dough that tastes or feels underproofed or young. We are putting a stronger focus on the proofing process to ensure there is no confusion, and we can ensure consistency in the look and end of the dough product across all locations. For example, you now have specific times on how long to mix the yeast, water, flour, salt, and when we specifically in this process to add the ingredient to the mixture. Water temperature makes a huge difference, and you should be temping the water to ensure that it is at room temp before you mix into the yeast and flour. When the dough comes out of the mixer, it must sit or proof for 20 minutes before we start rolling the dough. Team, I can't stress this one enough. This current dough may feel a little tougher coming out of the mixer, but after this 20 minutes, it really starts to loosen up and is amazing to work with. Also, you need to pull your dough from the walk-in before using the dough on the line. It must be out of the cooler for a minimum of 30 minutes, although we would prefer 45 minutes or longer. Let's talk about prep changes. We're changing the sauce we've already talked about. Pesto chicken has some salt added to it since there's no more salt on the pizza line. Bufala mozzarella prep, that was a hot topic this last week. You should be cutting it and getting between 10 and 13 slices per half ball of Bufala mozzarella. And then cheese portioning will be required if leadership is in your restaurant and you are not using your cheese scoops. Let's talk about on the pizza line what's changing. Dough stretching. We're committed to not touch the outside of the crust or the very center of the dough while we're opening dough. Why are we making all this fuss about the crust? This is the way it should have always been, but it's a refresher to our staff. Protect the crust at all costs so that we can provide a nice airy crust on the edges that is the way it was intended to look, dating all the way back to the tried and true pizza traditions in Naples. Sauce amounts and distribution. Sauce now goes on the bottom. Lunch is 2 ounce, dinner's 4 ounce. So why do we change the sauce amount? We're reducing the sauce on all pizzas by 1 ounce. It is being placed on the bottom now to control consistency and better coverage. Please note, since we are doing 1 ounce lighter, people ask for light sauce now. Explain that we are already doing a slightly lighter amount and a more consistent spread of sauce, so urge them to try it with the changes in place before going with light sauce. The changes may be exactly what they were looking for. Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper, we will no longer have this on the pizza line as we are adding the imported sea salt to the sauce when blending instead of on the line to control consistency. Employees can have heavier or lighter hands that vary by person, so this gives us a better consistency across the board to prevent overly salted or seasoned pizzas from happening. No more fresh mozzarella on top. Realistically, it wasn't adding enough to impact the flavor and was ultimately just for looks and hindering the crispiness of our end product by adding more weight and moisture. What we were doing, we were topping in this order shredded mozz, then dropping the sauce, then the fresh mozzarella to make sure this was visible. It was only 1 slice or 1 ounce of fresh mozzarella per pizza. Now we're spreading the sauce evenly on the bottom and putting the shredded cheese on top. No additional fresh mozzarella. This removal of extra moisture and weight helps with creating a firmer middle. Please note, if our guests want fresh mozzarella, they still have the option to add it on. So why do we make the decision to remove this fresh mozzarella? There's really no longer need, since we're moving the shredded mozzarella on top of the sauce. It was originally added to show the appearance of cheese, since the shredded mozzarella was on the bottom and hidden under the sauce. Oftentimes the fresh mozzarella was not melting fully on top and was feeling cold after bake. This will also remove the confusion from the buffalo or fresh for the staff, since both are sliced now, and it would be really hard to tell the difference. Let's talk about buffalo mozzarella. Buffalo mozzarella is now being added back to the buffalo chicken pizza. It is now sliced on your line. This allows the moisture to evaporate a little bit more in the oven, helping with the soupiness of the pizza. Why? Buffalo mozzarella balls were being pulled apart, being left in big clumps on the pizza before, and it was actually putting more liquid on the pizza and causing those soupy spots. Slicing it beforehand allows us to reduce the excess moisture going into the pizzas and providing a firmer middle and more consistent experience for our guests. Basil is now aftercook on all pizzas except for margaritas. The V-Pizza finish is no longer the same for every pizza. Pizzas that get pepperoni, sopressata, or pancetta do not get extra virgin olive oil before going in the oven, as they release enough oil already. Please follow that rule whenever you're making build your own pizzas as well. So what's the end result? The end result is a pizza that is crispier, a lot more solid in the middle, and a pizza that if you wanted to, you could hold up over your head. If you look at this picture of Antoinette, this was a classica margarita that by all accounts should be a very soupy pizza that she is holding up over her head afterwards, and this has been out of the oven for a few minutes. These changes are going to help us produce a pizza that is less soupy, looks and tastes great, and has a firmer, crispier crust from our main oven. Team, it's a really exciting time at V-Pizza. Let's do this. The community has been asking for this for years. They know it's happening because we put it out on Facebook now. Like I said in the beginning, a local news channel has picked up what's going on. So the community is going to be in there. They're going to be looking. I can't stress how important it is that we are talking about this every day, that we are getting that dough pulled out so that it's at room temperature, that we are blending the sauce all the way, that we are using our tools, that we are measuring the right things, and that we are doing everything in our power to make this pizza Americano a success. Can't say any more about it. I need everybody as a team. We need everybody 100%, 110% after this, passionate about this, that we are going to make this work, because it's going to. And you can either be on the rocket ship and take off, or you can fight it. We would rather every person be passionate and on the rocket ship. Let's do this, team.